This is going to be a review, not an analysis, because I had a bunch of extremely reviewy things that I tried to work into my analysis video, which is coming out later on, but it kinda got all muddled and crappy, so I pretty much had to scrap the whole script, and now you're getting this. Keep in mind that Katawa Shoujo comes highly recommended from me despite everything I'm about to say. The first problem that I need to bring up is that there's too much reading. Now, I understand how dumb that sounds when talking about a game that is exclusively reading, but Haseo has a tendency to break into waves of descriptive exposition, explaining in excruciating detail exactly what everything looks like even though we can see pictures of the fucking background. And there are long conversations with adult characters which can be safely skipped. I mean, the importance of anything the head nurse has to say to you would not be diminished at all if the conversations were like 5 dialogue boxes each. Or even Kenji. Every conversation with him could be replaced with this one frame. And now you're fully aware that if you ever see him again, you have done something horribly wrong with your life and should probably jump off the nearest roof. And it can get a little awkward when Haseo decides to break into an internal monologue in the middle of a conversation with someone who's blind. It's a difficult subject to try and think about objectively, given that I've always had someone like that. I can mostly understand what Lily means, given that it would be hard to place oneself outside a situation they've been in all their lives. She and her sister must have a pretty close relationship. Taking pains to interrupt us as little as possible, Yuko dutifully comes over and places a cup on the table. Lily thanks her as I sit back, taking in this vexing girl in front of me. Haseo? Despite always seeming to be on her guard and in control of herself when talking to others, she has an almost childlike curiosity about other people. Are you still there? That said, those rare moments when she seems to slightly lower her guard are the most insightful into how she thinks. You're being kinda quiet. Reaching forward for my drink, I realized something I probably should have noticed earlier. This isn't funny, man. You're freaking me out! I think I'm starting to become kind of curious about her. Now, this could be like, I don't know, some sort of artificial difficulty curve? Like it's trying to space out all the stuff we actually care about with blocks of useless text, just to tempt us into holding down the skip button and maybe missing out on some of the emotional core of the game, but that's bad design. And either way, you'll occasionally get a gem like this. Really? Unable, huh? This is why we do rehearsal. Anyway, a pinch of editing would go a long way towards making this game a lot more accessible. My second problem is Lily's path, and the way that it seems buried under all the choices. Mechanically, spoilers by the way, the only way to get the option to pursue a relationship with Lily is to recklessly pursue Hanako. What do I mean by recklessly? One of the options you have to pick in order to lock in Hanako's path comes immediately after a scene where you learn that she reacts extremely negatively to unwanted company. Whether you foot-and-mouthedly blunder into this conversation or calmly and gently try to chat with her, she freaks the fuck out and runs away, leading me and probably some other people to assume that this option would make her a hell of a lot less comfortable than this option. So you would have to be willing to risk sending her into a panic and making her flee the room just to talk to her. And then you ignore her to go hang out with Lily? That kind of feels like a dick move. And in my attempts to praise the design psychology in the first act, I would have been remiss if I didn't at least point this out somewhere. My third and final issue is about Rin's arc, because that's the only one I've quote-unquote finished. The other arcs might have the same issue, they might not, but this issue is a lack of agency. Act 1 gives you tons of agency. After that, it slowly strips the agency away from you. The decision points become fewer and farther between, and worst of all, Haseo starts thinking on his own, and starts telling you, the player, his opinions. Fuck you! I'm you! You don't get to have your own opinions. It was my agency that put you on this path, and I'm not gonna let you fuck it up, you oblivious prick. Now, the reason I said quote-unquote finished is because after like the halfway point in Act 3 of Rin's arc, everything Haseo did was pissing me off, because I couldn't relate to whatever it was he was feeling. Like, emotions or some shit, I don't know. The point is that the guy, me, who went down this path in the first place would not be feeling the way my avatar is telling me I'm supposed to be feeling. So the choices started getting crappier and crappier, and the things that weren't choices started getting more and more infuriating until I got a choice that was so dumb that I had to look up what the consequences were before proceeding. And I forced myself to pick the good ending option, because why not, and just got more and more dejected as I clicked through text box after text box until I gave up. Haseo doesn't deserve Rin. He can stand there doomed to never see the end credits for all I care. Because if you have the right blend of creative passion and social apathy that would make you love Rin as a character, trying to project onto Haseo in this case is just gonna make you want to kill yourself.